Now, the Republic of Benin National Geographic African Parks and the Wyss Foundation have signed a partnership that will see all parties commit an initial $23 million to help secure and rehabilitate one of the last remaining wild landscapes in West Africa's Pendjari National Park. CNBC Africa's Onyi Sunday caught up with the Republic of Benin's Foreign Affairs Minister, Aurelien Agbenoci, to get more insight on this partnership.
Let me start off by asking, what do you make of this partnership with the government of Benin Republic, the National Geographic Society, African Parks and Wyss Foundation to protect the Pendjari Park?
Yes, we signed this partnership because we want to protect the Pendjari Park because tourism is part of our economic strategy to have a fast growth for this economy. We think that the possibilities that tourism can bring to our economy has not been tapped sufficiently. Specialists said it's between 2% to 5%, and we want to do more. So this partnership was all about this.
Now, I understand the four partners are initially committing about $23 million to safeguard the park. Is security, or what I call, is insecurity, the #1 issue affecting the Pendjari Park today?
I can't say that is the #1 issue because Pendjari is secure and the whole area is also secure. What we're trying to do is to make sure that the tourists that will visit our country will be evolving in a very safe area. Benin is a safe haven, and we're working in reinforcing our internal security system as well as the security arrangements that are needed inside the park to give a conducive, to give a very safe environment for the visitors.
Now, I was watching a short clip just before the interview, and poaching, resource recession, and surrounding geographic pressure are part of the issues that are affecting the park in Benin Republic today. How will this partnership help to address that?
Correct. You know, if we want to sustain this activity, which is not only about the conservation strategy, but also is a true economic strategy, we need to take measures. First of all, we are aware that climate change and other issues needed a strong reaction and measure that must preserve the environment and allow a safe life for the animal. But concerning poaching, which is a human activities on which we need to take strong measures, the government of Benin has already made a good decision. First of all, we pull out the army from the park because it's not the job of the army or the police to protect a park because they don't know what it is. And we have created a ranger company since a few months now, and the first group went out. We were able to graduate about 60 of them, and they were trained, they were totally briefed and trained, and is a new company of rangers in our county for the first time since our independence that we are putting in place a ranger company, and they are working now under the leadership of African Park to make sure that all the standards are observed.
Now, staying with, of course, addressing poaching, when you talk about this training, I understand the government of Benin is also incorporating the local community to join this rangers. Tell me more about this initiative.
You're absolutely correct, because you cannot have an initiative like protecting and revitalizing a park like Pendjari if you don't work with new paradigm. The new paradigm is to have this activity with the involvement of the local population, the community around the park. You know, today you have people who doesn't know, who do not know what an elephant look like. So since a few months now that African Park is there, we're organizing, for instance, schools to bring children to this park to know which type of species we have in this park. And concerning the poaching particularly, we involve the community, because those who were poaching were not only people coming from outside the area, but also people from the local community. So by doing some sensitization campaign, informing them, and making sure that they have a return of the investment that we are doing in this park of Pendjari, we are really moving to a new area where the local communities are involved in this promotion of the park, in this activity that is safeguarding the park and giving a new approach to the activities of managing the park. Because tourism is really a way that we want to use to fast track our economic growth and to fight poverty. So not only the jobs inside the park are offered to the community, but also other activities that are related to host hotels and other important cultural activity related to the package offered to the tourists really involve the local population. It's only by partnering with the local population that we can sustain and make these activities something interesting.
Now, of course, these poachers, get involved in these illegal activities for commercial purposes. Let's understand what the government of Benin is doing to secure its borders and ensure that these parts from animals being killed are not exchanged across its borders.
You're right. We have reinforced our security system on the borders, particularly in that area. And we are working closely with the neighboring countries. Let me start by the security system. The country has been through a drastic reform of the security establishment, because the machinery that we used to have for security was composed by gendarmes and policemen. Now we have made a kind of fusion of the two institutions. They're being offered new training, but so we have improved their salary, and we have revised the way they operate at the borders. And the custom received strict instruction and were trained also to prevent all the traffic of remaining of animals to the other countries. This is one. Second thing, we have new supervision system. And in the coming month, we even want to use cameras around the border to make sure that we don't have trafficking about things coming from the animals for the poaching. And third element, which is very important, because Pendjari is part of a wider park that we call WAP, the W park that cover Niger and Arli that cover also Burkina Faso as well as Pendjari. So within this area, it's important that the three countries come to a partnership, come to an understanding that we allow those activities to be conducted on a very professional way. So we had a good understanding with Burkina Faso, and when President Talon went to Burkina last October, the conversation with the head of state of Burkina, President Kabore, during the conversation they agree, and Burkina has accepted to be part of the arrangement that we put in place. We are waiting for them to make the decision because it's a matter of sovereignty. We are aware of that. But the conversation has also started with Niger, and I'm hoping to have good results in the coming month, if not week. But before that, we convened last year in Cotonou a meeting between the three countries to have a roadmap that will allow us to better manage together the resources of the wider park of WAP. So Pendjari is the part that we are starting with the protection of the species and a better management of the system. So we think that the security system that we have reformed will strongly contribute to protect the activities that will be conducted in this park. So it's something very important to us, and we're happy to be doing it because that will help our economy.
All right, now, and besides financial commitments, just talk us through what each partner is bringing to the table. I'm talking about a National Geographic Society, African Parks, and Wyss Foundation. What are they bringing to the table besides, of course, the financial commitment of $23 million US?
Okay, let me start by what the government is doing, because we also change the way we do business. In the past, country like my country will go to partners saying, okay, can you help? No. When we signed the agreement with African Park, we as Benin government put on the table 6 million, which is part of this 23 million. And I know that the arrangement between African Park and the other partner, particularly the National Geographic, is covering an amount of 7 million, and the global finance that resources needed is being mobilized. This is how it's going to work. So it's a real partnership. It's a partnership between the government of Benin that puts also money on the table, and because we need to have a say in what it's doing. We give the management responsibility to African Park because they are good, they are the best in this area as far as we are concerned, because they have a proven experience on the continent, and we are working on a very transparent manner, and out of this 23 million, as I put it, I said before, we put our contribution, and we are now having conversation with some other foundation and organization that are ready to contribute to this 23 million, and I'm very optimistic about that.
Well, no doubt about that. Clearly, yes, the government of Benin also contributed to it. My question is, what else? What are these partners bringing to the table besides financial commitment? I was going through a press release just before this interview. We're talking about operational effectiveness. Yep. We're talking about scientific research and innovative technology as well. That's what I want to know. What is each partner going to be focusing on besides just a financial commitment?
Beyond the financial commitment, they are going to bring to this experience not only science, research, but also technology, because to manage a park today, you need to take advantage and use all the means that exist. So by connecting the park to research institutions, to universities, both inside but also outside, by allowing researchers to work on this park, by allowing some social dynamic to be involved, and by also partnering with some other platforms. So what they are bringing is not only the money, but also this type of activities and storytelling by some key actors which are working in those various, on these various platforms. So it's not only about money, and our strategy is not only a conservation strategy, but it's also an economic strategy with added value through science, through technology, and many others dimensions, like working also with the academia and the schools of all age, primary school, secondary school, but universities.
That was Aurelien Agbenoci, Republic of Benin's Minister for Foreign Affairs.